The Oliver Effect. The rain hammered the cobblestones of Acacia Street as if the sky had decided, that night, to punish someone. And Oliver Mendez walked through it without an umbrella, shoulders hunched under the weight of something that wasn't water. He was 34 years old. He had a framed diploma that never left the box. 3 rejected interviews that month, 2 abandoned projects that year, and a voice inside his head that never stopped repeating the same sentence. You're not enough for this. Oliver wasn't a failure for lack of talent. He was a failure because his mind was a prison with a low ceiling. He believed the world was too big for someone so small. That night, soaked and without appetite, he walked into a second-hand bookshop that was about to close. The owner, an old man with white hair, looked at him with the expression of someone who recognizes an inner storm even without seeing rain. "Are you looking for something?" the old man asked. "I don't know," Oliver answered. And that was the most honest thing he had said in years. The old man stepped out from behind the counter, walked to a shelf against the back wall, and pulled out an old book with a faded spine. He placed it in Oliver's hand without saying the title. "Read the first chapter tonight. If nothing changes, bring it back tomorrow." Oliver never came back to return it. The Secret, the theory of thinking big. The book spoke of a silent disease. It couldn't be detected by tests, had no medical name, but it infected almost everyone. It was called excusitis, the disease of excuses. Oliver recognized the symptoms in himself, page after page, like reading a late diagnosis. His version was the age one. I've already missed my window. The intelligence one. There are far more qualified people out there. The luck one. Things never work out for me. Every excuse was a brick, and Oliver had spent years building a wall between himself and anything that could change his life. He closed the book at 2 in the morning with the strange feeling of having been caught red-handed. Not by someone else, by himself. The next day, Oliver went to work. He sat in the same cubicle as always, a 6-foot box with a worn-out foam chair and a monitor that took 4 minutes to boot. The window faced a brick wall, and for the first time he saw that scene clearly, not as routine, as a choice. I chose this, he thought, not because it was the most I deserved, but because it was the most I thought I deserved. The difference between those 2 sentences was an abyss. Destroying fear through action. Oliver spent the following months fighting a silent war against himself. The book said fear doesn't disappear before action. It disappears during action. Oliver understood that principle in theory. In practice, it was another story. He wrote the first business proposal email 3 times, deleted all 3. On the 4th attempt, he sent it before he finished reading it, because he knew that if he finished reading, he would delete it again. No reply. He sent another. They replied. The meeting lasted 20 minutes. Oliver left without closing a deal, but with hands less cold than the last time. The fear hadn't vanished. It had shrunk 1 centimeter, and 1 centimeter, he discovered, was enough to take the next step. The game changer. The climax. There was a scene he used to picture in those days, almost like a ritual before sleep. He saw himself in the cubicle, the cold monitor light, the smell of stale coffee and the printer, the background noise of keyboards. Then he closed his eyes and saw something else. An office with floor-to-ceiling windows, natural light, the city below, small and noisy, a desk where he made decisions, not carried out other people's decisions. It wasn't daydreaming, it was training. Oliver was learning, with difficulty, that the size of his success would be measured by the size of his belief. And that belief isn't something you feel while waiting. It's something you build through action, brick by brick, the same way he had built the wall, but this time pointing in the other direction. The turn it took 18 months. There was no cinematic turning point, no motivational speech with music swelling in the background. It was a sequence of small, uncomfortable choices that, added together, formed something Oliver one day looked at straight on and didn't immediately recognize as his own life. He had stopped sending his resume to positions that would fit him. He had started building something that was his. A small consultancy, 2 clients, then 4. Then a team of 3 people who believed in what he believed, not because he sold them an idea, but because he had stopped apologizing for having one. On a Tuesday morning, he was on the 10th floor with real windows and a hot cup of coffee when he received a message from the old man at the bookshop. Nothing solemn, just, "How is the book?" Oliver stared at the screen for a while. Then he replied, "I'm still reading it." And it was true, because the book that mattered wasn't the one from the dusty shelf. It was the one he was writing with every decision, every email sent before he finished reading it, every meeting that ended without a deal but with hands 1 degree less cold. Oliver hadn't arrived anywhere definitive, but he had walked out of the prison with the low ceiling. And when you walk out of a prison like that, you discover that the only ceiling that matters is the sky, which, as he had learned on that rainy night, sometimes requires you to get soaked first, before you realize you were thirsty all along. The end.